Hello there you, this is Jay's Manchild and welcome to Crime Fighters on this week's RetroTech 120p challenge. What do you do in the RetroTech 20p challenge? Well, you have 2 credits, you can have as many practice runs as you want. You press record, put those 2 credits in, that's you go. Upload that video and don't be a cheaty pants. If you wanted to join that in, you could go to Facebook and join the group, and once a week, one person chosen at random gets to have their game picked. Again, it's me this week, and I've chosen a bit of an average beat 'em up this week. It's Crime Fighters. So what can I tell you about Crime Fighters? Well, it was the first part of a trilogy, along with Violent Storm and Vendetta, all of which very different from each other. You can barely tell that there's a connection between them. Like, the lead characters in each game are different. There's some similarity in some of the bosses, and maybe some of the hoodlums, but overall it's a very, very tenuous trilogy, which you can see in a video I made where you can either watch the individual ones, or I made an omnibus one. I'll put a link to the omnibus one up there, and at the end, why don't I? So what can I tell you about Konami's Crime Fighters? Well, it was released in 1989, the same year as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You can either buy it as a 4-player dedicated cabinet, or a 2-player dedicated cabinet, or you could get a conversion kit and you can convert one of your 4-player arcade games, be it Konami's Main Event, or even a 4-player one like Atari's Gauntlet, or even, you know, Sega's Quartet. You could possibly swap out the board inside and have a fantastic Crime Fighters board in there instead. Is it really fantastic though? No, it's not really. It's the first beat 'em up I played, I think, in the arcades after Double Dragon. So I was really impressed with it. I was impressed that you could kick people while they're down, and I was impressed that you can pick up like handguns and stuff, which I think was a first. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments whether or not that was the first thing you could do. But yeah, it's a nice little run down New York. I think it's got a good look to it, this game, although the sprites are tiny and the platforms in this station are huge. I think it does its own thing. I mean, in terms of like the main characters themselves, they do a lot better in the sequels. You can't select your character in this. They're all the same, no matter who you are on the 4-player cabinet. All the characters are the same. They've just got different coloured jeans and haircuts. That's it. The moves are the same. But apart from that, they're the same, which is weird when you consider it came out the same year as like the Turtles game. Although, yeah, the moves weren't massively similar in that. They at least had a bit of character to them, the Turtles. Yes, I know that they wear exactly the same shells. They wander around nude, and they just change their masks. But at the same time, that they at least put a little bit of character into that game, whereas this one, it doesn't really have it. Another problem, as you can see here, is the hit detection is abysmal in this game, which makes me sound like I hate it, which I don't. I don't think it's aged particularly well. I think there are, when you consider, as I say, Turtles came out, Final Fight came out the same year, and then just a year or two later, Streets of Rage started. It's not up with those at all. It's really not. It's fine though. I think there are way worse scrolling beat 'em ups out there. I'm looking at you, Judge Dredd. If you want to see a terrible game, I could have picked that. That is a very, very bad scrolling beat 'em up midways, Judge Dredd. Have a look at it. That someone walks around a tiny Goro. Yeah. So it was, as I say, it was released in 1989. It didn't get any conversions, I think, to the home formats. It had recently, though, I noticed a Switch shop had, I sort of noticed my video on Crime Fighter started to do a little bit better, and I noticed that it become available digitally, certainly on the Switch, or maybe on another format as well. So, you know, I thought everyone else had forgotten about it. So you start off here in the subway. Basically, the plotline of the game is that you are trying to rescue a load of kidnapped women from a crime boss and his gang of punks, and you're an undercover policeman, not keeping very well at being undercover, if I may say. It's got it does individual things, like you can kick enemies when they're on the ground. Say you can pick up guns. It's very, very generous with weapons, to be honest. Like every second villain, I think, has like a knife or a club of some sort. Very disappointing it doesn't obey the beat 'em up trope of having the little bit at the end of the drain pipe, though. When you pick up a pipe, it's literally a pipe. You haven't got that little bit that bends at the end, which is in every beat 'em up, isn't it? That's the first level down there. Lost a life, and I'll get on that nice train. Glad to see that the people in this city look after their public transport, covered in graffiti. It's a challenge, this game. It really is. It's very difficult at times. You know, it's easy to get overwhelmed. I think the way to make the most of the environment is to make it hard for you to get surrounded, which is like, I don't know, it's an old thing in beat 'em ups. But if you use like things like I've got here, like this this pole, if you stand next to the pole, it makes it trickier for enemies to come at you in multiple angles. It can kind of keep you on your toes a bit, this game, yes. But yeah, although it is very productive when it comes to giving you weaponry, it is entirely possible that you will lose that weaponry, unfortunately, because one hit and it doesn't go on the floor and stay there. Basically, as soon as you've been hit while holding a weapon, that weapon is gone. It doesn't matter if it's a gun, a knife, or a club, it goes. Yeah, so yeah, as I say, very difficult. It did okay, this game. I think it was the third most successful arcade unit in Japan in 1989. But as I say, there are better examples of the genre there. So what do we do about animal genital facts? Because although I think there's some dogs later on in the game, I don't want to do dogs. I mean, that's a sound clip you can make. I don't want to do dogs. So I thought, well, it's a grimy city, it's a crime city, what's known as being a criminal creature. Let's go for the raccoon. You can run with us, we've got everything you need. Run with us, we are free. Raccoons are obviously known for stealing stuff, so I thought, yeah, let's do them for crime. So yes, today's genital fact of the week is about raccoons. And aren't they cute little human type things? They're sort of dog-faced humans because they've got like hands and stuff. So yeah, in terms of mating in raccoons, males commonly mate with several females each spring, and sometimes you get bonds between the two for a period, although sometimes they're little rogues and they just wander off. They can sometimes den together through winter and then bond that way before mating, but the female will still go out and mate with multiple males. That's kind of heartbreaking, that, isn't it? After the mating period, though, there's no association between the male and female, and the lady raccoon has to rear the cubs by herself. So it's a very dysfunctional family unit. Something out of a like Shameless or something. The penis itself of the raccoon, the penis itself, a sentient penis, it becomes erectile, but also is supplanted by a penis bone. The baculum, of course, if you know your animal genital facts, which hopefully you are learning something. This is a big learning tree, this video series. you know, I hope I've taught you that the baculum is the bone in the penis of some animals. It's long and curved like a scimitar, which helps the male maintain vaginal penetration, which is, you know, the aim of the game, and I want to play that game with you, raccoon. Mating, which occurs between January and March, is immediately after winter sleep, so they've probably all got morning breath, and can last an hour or more, which, you know, I think that's pretty impressive when you see like lions and that doing 2 pumps and I'm off, Gerald. That's a hell of a thing. Well done, raccoons. Hopefully you get the you know, candles out ready and what have you. So yeah, the gestation of a period. They're also, actually no, they're also very secretive when they make love as well. They are rarely seen, you know, just rutting in the street. They prefer to go to their dens. So, you know, there is some class to a raccoon. You can often hear shrill cries coming from the lady raccoon during the act, which, you know, shows that the male raccoon certainly knows his job. They sometimes, the male will sometimes bite the female. It's a bit kinky. So, you know, if you need to write animal, sort of raccoon, you know, sex fiction, then I think I've given you enough ammunition there. Speaking of ammunition, on the screen currently is a man with a gun, and look, you can pick up that gun and you can shoot people with that gun. But as I say, as soon as someone gets near you and punches you once, that gun is gone. You can't go in there and pick it up. It just sort of dissipates into the ether. An ethereal piece of weaponry. I found the best way to handle the big black fella there is to use the reverse kick on him, because otherwise he'll just pick you up and throw you about. Always take advantage there of kicking them while they're down. This isn't a very gentlemanly beat 'em up, this one, at all. As soon as someone's on the floor, just kick him in the ribs until, you know, they've passed out. That's the way. Also, isn't that poster at the back really freaky with the girl on it? Her face is not right. The fact that it moves is bad, but it's wrong anyway. It's wrong, a wrong-looking face. This dingy train. All the newspapers left around like it's Saturday night, and everyone's left the Evening Standard lying around on the train. So nearly at the end of the train here. Punk not dead. I think we've seen evidence of that already. Thank you, game. And here comes Jason Voorhees. As ever, you've got to have, in your 80s game, you've got to have a Jason Voorhees. Either, you know, poor Michael Myers, just because he had a really lame mask that was basically William Shatner's face turned inside out. He doesn't get any love. It's always the hockey mask, isn't it? Remember who came first, eh, Jason? Also spotting that other video game trope of wearing a vest with no shirt on, which I covered in the Crime City video the other week. A really strange thing I've noticed about 80s games is that if you're in a gang, you need to at least have one member of your crew that wanders around wearing absolutely nothing but a vest. But at least that looks like a nice warm vest. It looks like that little gilet will keep him warm when he's murdering people with his axe. He does account for a lot of my life, this guy. He's a boss, that's his job. So I've taken him down though. And I've pulled into Konami Station there, as you can see. Do you know this game was made by Konami? I don't know how you can tell. So now I've taken to the streets. Troy Street? Trois Street? I don't know. Yeah, again, crime everywhere, as you'd expect. This, whoever's doing the crime fighting, other than our bejeaned dad-dressed hero here, is not doing a very good job of it, let's be honest. There's crime everywhere. Again, the other trope of scrolling beat-em-ups that I've always liked to address is, as you can see, I got onto the train there, I travelled on the train, and then I got off of the train in the first couple of levels. Now, there's still about another 6 or 7 levels, some of which take in like rooftops, some of which take in like bays, docks, until I finally end up in, I think, back in the city. A thing I've always wondered about the protagonists of scrolling beat-em-ups: stay on the train, stay on the bus, and wait till you get to the boss's hideout. Why do you constantly get off of the train, get off the bus? Just drive there. You're a policeman. Is there no one free to give you a lift? Drive to where the boss lives, punch him in the face, get the women back. Why want to do this massive great walk around the town just punching people when you could just go directly to the boss, beat him up, and there you go, you've done it, you've completed the mission. Then send someone out to round up all these goons, or get the rest of the goons later. These women are in peril, we all know they've been kidnapped for probably a very seedy reason. That seedy reason could be happening while you're wandering around kicking in like this guy who thinks he's a linebacker for the, Green Bay Packers or whatever, when, you could be, like, actually doing your job. I don't know. I've never understood it. And it's quite a common thing. Final fight happens, you get on the train in, like, the second level, and then he just gets off, and he goes, oh, you know what, I could do with fighting a samurai in a boxing ring. That's what I'm going to do. I'm pretty sure it happens in one of the Streets of Rages as well. I mean, they Streets of Rage 2, they decide to go to Disneyland for a bit. I'd go visit a baseball stadium. Go through like a weird mock-up of the Aliens game. Let's go and do that. Double Dragon, there's no vehicles in that take you anywhere. But, they come out of a garage and it's got the car from Road Avenger in it. Just drive there. Just drive to the... I know it's on a mountain top, actually, the villain's base. I always thought the base in Double Dragon was very, mysterious for basically Phil Collins with a machine gun. It was like an ancient Chinese tomb or something. I was hanging out by the strip club here. Dancer waiting, and there she is. The sign says no lie. There she is. The neon sign is giving us the truth there. There she is, just waiting. She's waiting to do her dance. My game is drawing to a close, as you can see. Although, there you go. That's what comes a cropper from being a perv, mate. You're supposed to be a policeman. You're on duty. You're punching people in the chin. Do that first. And there we go. I'm about to die. Thrown against the neon sign outside the strip club. Probably how I expect myself to die. Is that a foreboding future? So yes, that's the RetroTech 120p challenge then. So make sure that you get on there and you join in the fun. Until next time, K, thanks, bye.